Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Warwick Science's Film Practical, and this is looking at food testing. And all we're going to do today is to run through the tests that we use for the different nutrients. We obviously have three major types of nutrients. We have carbohydrates, proteins, and fats and lipids. And within the carbohydrate section, we tend to break that up into two groups. We tend to use starch, which is a complex carbohydrate, made up of lots of glucose molecules, and the most simplest of the glucose molecules. So what I've got here is, we'll have a look at the test for starch. So just put a little bit of food material in here. All of these have a mixture of various different things. So, and to do that, we start off and we use dilute iodine, or potassium iodide as we call it. Now that is a yellow colour to begin with, as you can see there, and then when we add it in, if it goes a blue-black colour like it has there, then that's the test for starch. So whether it goes blue and black. Okay, our next test is for that of glucose, and I've got a little bit of glucose powder in there. I'll just add a little bit of water so it actually dissolves into the water. And to show glucose, the test for glucose, we use what's called a clingy stick, and a clingy stick is simply this. You put it into the glucose, and what happens is that green there pad will go brown. If there's glucose present. This is the same thing that a doctor would do in your urine to see whether you have glucose in your urine, which is never a good thing. So we basically dunk it in there. Then we have to wait a little bit of a while, but hopefully what you can see is you can see that it is now starting to turn a brown colour. We're not worried about the one at the bottom. The one at the bottom is for another test, but you can see the top one there has changed from the very light green it was, and now starting to work its way through into brown. So maybe if I just put it on there, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So that's worked its way to brown. So that tells us that glucose is present in the particular substance. So that's called the clingy stick. The third test is for a substance, protein, and again I've got a little bit of protein here. And for that we use a test called biurettes, which is basically involves two substances. One is copper sulfate. So what we do is we put 2 drops of copper sulfate into there, and then we put 2 drops of sodium hydroxide, and again we can give that a little bit of a swirl around, and you'll notice that it's now starting to go a purple colour in there, and a purple colour is the positive test for biurettes. So purple means that there's protein present. The final one that we have is this particular one here, and this is the fats test, and I call this the McDonald's test simply because we've all seen fast food fast food bags that have had the fat from the food sort of work their way through it. So we do exactly the same thing. So we place a little bit in there. We tend to give it a little bit of a rub around as well, and we end up with this mark here, which is translucent. So you can see the slight difference between the two bags there. So if it goes translucent, and you can hold it up to the light, which you can't see there, but you can hold it up to the light and you can see the way through it, and that tells you that there is fat present. Now those are the 3 tests that we have. So just to recap, to test for starch we use iodine and it goes blue-black. To test for glucose we use a clingy stick and it goes from green to brown. For protein we use biurettes and that goes from a light blue to purple. and for fat we use a brown paper which will go translucent, which means light will pass through it. So those are each of the tests for the three major nutrients that we take in the human body. If you have any problems, please come and see me and I will clear them up for you. Thank you.